From tragic endings to vicious manipulations, Batman's love life is a Gotham-sized roller coaster. From Catwoman's alluring charm and Talia Al Ghul's very weird history with Batman, there is no one that can say that Batman's love life is simple. His love life is probably one of the more complicated things that I've ever had to read or see on the screen. So I was really just considering and thinking about something. The fact that when you really think about it, Batman's love life really would cause so many different relationships way too much trust issues. From the fact that he can't even tell most of his relationships what he does for a real living, and the fact that a good portion of his relationships usually end atrociously. You can never really say that Batman has it easy in any format. Now, this video has been in the making for quite a while, and I had just been pushing it off because I didn't know really what I wanted to do with it. I had already made a video discussing why Spider-Man's love life gives me trust issues, and Batman just seems like the easy next call for this list. But you guys will be able to just give me your comments down in the description below on what you guys think about all of Batman's relationships and everything along these lines whatsoever. Obviously, if we want to get into trust issues and Batman's relationship, the first one we are going to have to talk about would be none other than Talia Al Ghul. She is the biggest reason for trust issues in all of his relationships, so she obviously has to be the first one that I have to talk about before I even get into discussing any of the various others. Talia Al Ghul's relationship with Bruce is so complicated. From the first time that she was introduced in the comics to now that she's way more popular than she's been in quite a long while, Talia Al Ghul is always one of these people that you can recognize for the sheer fact that she will be messing Bruce's life up in any way that she can. Talia Al Ghul is obviously the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, the demon and the leader of the League of Shadows. We have seen her do so many things, and we know for a fact that she really does love Bruce. She really admires Bruce, but the lengths that she goes to in this relationship is absolutely atrocious. There are many different ways that this has been told, but the biggest thing that Talia has ever done against Bruce was have a child with him. And when I say with him, that really can be taken in so many different contexts. Because of the fact that, yes, in some continuities, it was just the fact that she had claimed that they were married, since in her culture, you only need the opinion of the bride to be considered married. Or in other places where it goes to the point of, oh, I'm just going to steal your genetic input, use it, and here we go, bing, bang, boom, we have a child. Now, both of these are still extremely hilarious in both ways because of the fact of Bruce's relationship with Talia isn't usually on his end the more loving tide. Talia is the one truly infatuated with Bruce. Bruce is just Bruce, the billionaire playboy. He has some relationship with Talia, but it's never a full thing where he likes her as much as she likes him. He has just always kind of been put in these situations. Obviously, it did lead to Damian Wayne, who is probably one of the more favorite Robins that have actually ever been made. But let's be honest, the way that he was created is not one of those things that you would be saying like, oh yeah, I completely trust this. The way that he was created and everything that Talia has done since is always one of those things where, do you really want to be dealing with this, or do you want to try figuring something else out and just leave this relationship all to its entirety? Obviously, there are so many different things that I'm going to talk about, and I am going to get back to Talia in a second, but I do want to actively get into the other people that we want to talk about. Now, one of Bruce's most consistent relationships throughout all of comics has always been Selina Kyle. Whether it's from the comics, the big screen, or just TV, Selina Kyle has always been a very big, important part of Batman's relationships, a very important part of his entire love life. And the main big thing that really can drive trust issues in this would be the fact of they are usually on opposite sides of the entire playing field. Batman is this superhero vigilante, and Catwoman, depending on the time, is usually just a thief or someone more on the criminal side. Yes, they have a very compelling relationship and probably one of my favorite relationships in all of comics, but the fact that they are on opposite sides really does cause quite a bit of problems due to the fact of you can never really trust her to do exactly what she's going to say. And there have been occasions where I think it was in The Dark Knight Rises where Selina Kyle betrays Batman to Bane and locks him inside the sewage pipe to be completely annihilated by Bane afterwards. This is just one of those things where, due to the fact that they are on two opposite sides of the playing field and two opposite sides of being a person, you can't really be able to use everything that she has and everything that she says to its exact meaning. She has her own ulterior motives, and while I am going to say that their relationship can usually be one of the better things for Bruce, especially when he loses something, because they do truly love each other, it is one of those things where you kind of have to remember that there are going to be some barriers and boundaries broken, some trust broken at almost any given time, depending on the situation. Now, one of the other person that I do need to talk about, Barbara Gordon. Somebody who has had a relationship with Batman's own son and ward, Dick Grayson, has had some time with Batman, to say the least. They have had some weird chemistry and some weird quality time together that is very, very weird, to say the least. Dick Grayson is Batman's quite literally son. He's the person that Batman adopted, and even while Dick was dating Barbara at any given point, there have been occasions where Batman and Barbara had some kind of relationship at any given point in time. This is obviously not a good thing to be dating or having anything to do with your adopted son's girlfriend, but Bruce being Bruce and having any kind of situation like this got himself entangled into this situation. It wasn't a good look whatsoever, but you can't really knock the guy for his game at times, but it is still very, very messy. It is one of those things where you kind of just have to be like, okay, bro, what are you doing here? Like, how are we even planning on like explaining this to anybody else whatsoever? Now, obviously, that is just like one of those main little things where the fact of them even having any relationships whatsoever is not a good thing, and it's very trust issue consuming. There is the main very big problem with quite a few of the other portion of Batman's relationships. Batman is a person that gets around quite a bit. He has to play a billionaire playboy during his time as Bruce Wayne, so he usually is seen around with multiple different women, but there aren't always a lot that really even make it into the main page and make it into the main screen. Some of the ones that really do usually have a very big problem due to the fact of there have been multiple, at least a couple specifically, of Batman's previous love interests that obviously he wasn't able to tell his biggest secret to. Whether it was just him not trusting them or just having other things on his mind, he's not always able to tell anybody that he usually doesn't tell anybody that he is the Batman. And this usually does cause some very funny situations where we have had a couple different of Batman's love interests that didn't know he was Batman also be in love with Batman, have infatuations with Batman instead of it just being with Bruce. This would normally cause trust issues because of the fact that they are thinking about somebody else besides you in a romantic matter, but it is you and they just don't know that, so you can't really be able to tell, oh, do I want to be mad about this, or do I just want to kind of let it slide and be perfectly fine with it because, in all fairness, they are just attracted to me in both of my forms. We've had people like Vicky Vale and so many different others kind of have these relations, want to have relationships with Batman and Bruce Wayne, but not knowing that they're the same person. And there obviously has been one specific situation where Bruce had to propose to Selina while he was in his Bruce Wayne form to catch her doing a crime while he was already in a relationship with somebody else, completely destroying that relationship And even when that was actively said and done, you couldn't relate getting that relationship back because the trust had already been gone. The trust had already been broken so much that there was no possible way that you were going to be like, oh yeah, this was a specific thing that I needed to do. You basically just cheated on her and got engaged to somebody else, and you proposed to somebody else that wasn't the person that you were already seeing. So it just causes a lot of problems on that end that aren't good whatsoever to be dealing with. Bruce's love life is just way too complicated, and even if we get back to Talia Al Ghul, as I already said, she is one of those people that Bruce doesn't really love in the same way that she loves him. She truly just wants to be with Bruce, and there have been so many different shows, movies, and everything showing how far she's willing to go to just try getting any control of Bruce, whether it's her completely just dominating him or whether it's her doing all of these heinous stuff to kind of gain his attention. Bruce's relationship with her is absolutely hilarious in my opinion because of the fact of I don't really know exactly what to think of it at times. It is one of those things where, okay, this could be like this or you could be like that, but either way, these two are going to kind of have to be stuck with each other for the rest of their lives now that they share a child. The way that they share a child is hilarious. Like the way that the child came to be is hilarious, but it is one of those things where you kind of just can't do anything besides that fact. But please, go down in the comment section and tell me what you guys actually think of Bruce Wayne / Batman's love life. Tell me if it gives you the same trust issues that it gives me, or if I'm just bugging out. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you guys can get caught up with all of the latest videos. I hope that you guys did enjoy this one, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.